Join me while I work on the Yule section of my Book of Shadows. Krampus is a folklore figure that appears around Yule. He is said to be half goat, half demon. He is said to turn up on December 5th in the evening with the intent of punishing naughty children. His counterpart is Saint Nicholas, who is said to reward the good children. Krampus predates Saint Nicholas by a few centuries. In some regions, Krampus is still celebrated by parades where people dress up with the horns and the long pointy tongue that lolls out of the mouth, and they go around the town scaring all the little children and some adults. He is generally depicted as having horns, a long pointy tongue that hangs out of his mouth. He wears chains that sometimes are depicted as having bells on them, which he rattles to be more fearsome and disturbing. He carries a bundle of twigs or switches made from birch, which he uses to whip the children before shoving them in a sack that he carries and taking them away, never to be seen again. St. Nicholas is said to show up the next morning and bring treats for the good kids. The treats generally consisted of nuts, chocolate, dried fruits, and things of the sort. It was the night before St. Nicholas Day, and all the children in the village were tucked in their beds, dreaming of the gifts they would receive in the morning. All except for one. Hans was a naughty boy who never listened to his parents, never did his chores, and always bullied his siblings and classmates. He did not believe in Krampus, the fearsome creature who punished bad children on this night. He thought it was just a silly story to scare him into being a good boy. He decided to stay up late and play with his toys, making a lot of noise and mess. Suddenly he heard a loud knock at the door. He thought it was his father, who had gone out to buy some bread. He ran to the door and opened it, expecting to see his father's smiling face. Instead, he saw a horrifying sight. A tall, hairy beast with horns, a long tongue, and glowing red eyes stood before him. He had a large sack on his back and a bundle of birch branches in his hand. He wore chains around his body, which rattled as he moved. He looked at Hans with a wicked grin and said, "Hello, little boy. I'm Krampus. I have come for you." Hans was terrified. He tried to slam the door shut, but Krampus was faster. He grabbed Hans by the collar and dragged him outside. Hans screamed and kicked, but it was no use. Krampus was too strong. He felt sharp pains as Krampus whipped him with his birch branches. He threw Hans into the sack, where he felt other children squirming and crying. He heard Krampus laugh as he said, "You have been a very bad boy, Hans. You will not get any gifts from St. Nicholas. Instead, you will come with me to my lair where I will torture you for eternity. You will regret your wicked ways, Hans. You will regret not believing in me." Krampus then carried his sack to his sleigh, which was pulled by 2 black goats. He climbed on the sleigh and cracked his whip. The goats ran into the night, taking Krampus and his sack of children away. The village was silent except for the sounds of chains and bells. No one saw them go except Hans' father, who had returned from the bakery. He saw the sleigh disappear into the darkness and heard his son's cries. He dropped the bread and ran to the door, hoping it was a nightmare, but it was not. He found the door opened, his son's toys scattered on the floor. He realized what had happened and fell to his knees. He wept and prayed, but it was too late. Krampus had taken his son, and there was nothing he could do. Here we are writing up a spell for when you're decorating your tree. While hanging bulbs and other ornaments, say the following. Baubles of splendor, shiny and bright, bring prosperity my way tonight. Repeat these words while you hang your decorations. While hanging garland, tinsel, and icicles, say the following. Silver and gold, and crystals too, with abundance start this year anew. Continue to repeat these words while hanging the tinsel and garland and icicles. Then turn on the lights and while gazing at your tree, say the following. Positive vibes this festive tree gives, so mote it be, and so it is. The point of using these words while you're decorating your tree is to draw prosperity, abundance, positive vibes, good energy to you throughout the season and for the rest of the year. Next, we will be writing up a simmer pot recipe and spell for success, prosperity, and luck. To a pot of water, you will add 2 cinnamon sticks and say, for success and change. You'll add a half a nutmeg grated or a half teaspoon of powdered nutmeg and say, for money and luck. You'll add 9 whole cloves and say, for wealth. You will add 1 orange slice and say, for generosity, energy, and happiness. You will add 3 slices of fresh ginger root or 1 teaspoon of powdered ginger and say, for prosperity and success. You will add 1 whole star anise and say, for good luck. As you're adding these to the pot, you will stir clockwise to draw energy into your mix. You'll let it simmer throughout the day, refreshing the water as needed. When you are done, dispose of the water in the garden soil. Once all of the ingredients are added, you will continue to stir clockwise while saying the following. Wealth and success, change and prosperity. I simmer this pot to bring these things to me. On the fragrance, good luck flies with energy and generosity before my eyes. Simmering pot, bring these things my way. Joy and prosperity every day. As I will it, so mote it be. Again, you will let the pot simmer throughout the day and draw joy, energy, prosperity, and all of the good things to you. You will be able to screenshot right here if you choose to use these words in your own simmer pot spell. For my own decorative purposes, I have decided to add some Wink of Stella around the edge. It's a sparkly paint. It doesn't really have a color, just sparkles. Again, just for decoration purposes. Here I show you the sparkles. You can kind of see them. And I show you how it's set up in the book. Enjoy. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and follow for more witchy goodness.